I have an announcement to make. Is this thing on? I want to let you know that content marketing is not a business plan. Creating consistent content is super important, of course, but creating consistent revenue is what really matters. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this live presentation. If you are a content creator, you don't have to rely on sponsors or advertisers. You can create your own source of revenue. And I wanted to talk about this today because I've been making the rounds of podcasts and I've been making the rounds of YouTube channels. And what inevitably happens, and I kid you not, it happened in the last hour. I just got off an interview. The camera turns off and the host says to me, I actually really need what you're teaching. And I wanted to talk about this publicly because what I've seen is so many people who have built audiences, who are creating amazing content, and who have never really figured out how to generate consistent revenue from all that work that they're doing. My goal in this presentation is to help two types of people. It's really tailored for online business owners who've built an audience using content. So if you are a blogger or a podcaster, or you have a YouTube channel, you have an audience that you built, maybe it's on a social media platform or an email list, you've built an audience and you're serving that audience with your content. What you're going to learn today is an alternate approach to generating revenue online that does not rely on sponsorships and does not rely on you running a whole bunch of expensive ads where you don't control your cash flow. What I want for you is to control your own revenue source, to own the place that's generating your revenue, and that's what we're going to talk about. Now, if you are a beginner and you're just beginning to build your online business, this presentation might not be for you. You can definitely stay tuned in because you will learn an alternate way to generating online revenue, but you may not be able to apply it right away. So if this isn't for you, I have lots of other content on my YouTube channel, and just look for Pamela Wilson Coach on YouTube and you can find my YouTube channel content. And there's a variety of content, but there's some beginner content for you. So if you need to log off, no hard feelings at all. I get it. But if you're here to learn how to make content creation pay, I want to welcome you to the presentation. I'm going to switch over to my slides so I can show you my title slide now. And the title of this presentation, the whole title is Online Revenue Simplified, How to Monetize Content Without Ads. And I should have said without sponsors, but it didn't really fit on my title slide. So this is what we have, how to monetize content without ads. And if you're here and you want to drop a comment to let me know in chat that you're listening and hearing me, that would be fantastic. It's always good once you start a presentation to get confirmation that everything is coming through. So here's me. This is who I am. My name is Pamela Wilson. I'm a 30-year online business owner. I started my offline business in 1992, and I started my online business in 2010. And I am an author, a keynote speaker. I wrote the two books that you see here on screen, Master Content Marketing and Master Content Strategy. I'm the former Executive Vice President of Educational Content for Copyblogger, where I taught people how to use content marketing to build their businesses. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And thank you for those of you who dropped into chat to let me know everything's coming through. I really appreciate that. So these days, what do? I coach people to build profitable online businesses. And the big thing that I want you to remember from today's presentation is what is on this next slide. You can own your source of revenue. You can create your own offer and you can serve your own audience. It's all about ownership. And that's the big thing we're going to be talking about today. And the reason I want to talk about it is that what I see is business owners pour time and energy and creativity into creating consistent content. And that's laudable. It is to be admired. I admire that. I wrote 2 books on content marketing. I am all for content marketing. However, you have to take the next step and figure out how you're going to generate consistent revenue with that content that you're creating. And I have to say, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is I just find it kind of heartbreaking that so many smart online business owners get caught in that content creation cycle and never really figure out the revenue or the monetization piece. And I do feel in a weird way like I owe you a little bit of an apology, because if you followed me during the years that I was teaching content marketing primarily, or the years that I had my position at Copyblogger, or maybe you bought my books, I may be partly responsible for your confusion. So this is a little bit of an apology tour for me. I'm hoping that the information in this presentation clears things up. I have been an industry leader on the topic of content marketing for more than a decade now, but I changed my focus about 5 years ago now. And it started partly because I broke my leg. I was in a bicycle accident, broke my leg, was off my feet for, like 6 months. I was in a wheelchair using crutches, a cane. It took me a while to get back on my feet. And everything in my life during the year of 2017, really slowed down. I had just left my position at Copyblogger, where I was helping their audience of content marketers. And I kind of had content marketing on the brain. I had written my books I'd written the first book on content marketing. I was all in on content marketing. And in 2017, when I broke my leg and had everything kind of screeched to a halt, I started thinking, like, why am I seeing so many people trying to build an online business, but they're really not making decent money? Oftentimes they're not making the kind of money that they made in a job, and they're trying to do something online where they should be able to make great income because they are experts, but they're not making money. So this started to really bother me. And during that year that I had all that extra time to think, I started realizing that I had an obligation to help people focus on the income piece of their online business. So whether or not you noticed it, since 2017, my primary focus has been on helping people to build profitable online businesses. That's what I'm really passionate about. And content marketing is a piece of that puzzle, but it is not the entire solution. And that's what we're going to really dig into. What I originally got confused by when I brought my business online, and I'm going to switch to my slides for this to show you, is this idea that, online business was mastering all these things. It was mastering content marketing and copywriting and website creation and podcasting and video and social media. Kendra saying, I'm trying to get away from this 9-to-5 job. Yes, I get that feeling. So I'm hoping that you're going to see a way to do it that will make sense and won't get you caught up in doing a lot of busy work. And that's what we're trying to do. So in my mind, when I first started my online business, these were all the things I had to learn. And, it was very all-consuming and it was difficult. They were skills that I wasn't born with. I wasn't a born writer, but it was really interesting and creative work. So I did enjoy it, but it ended up taking a lot of my time, and it felt kind of frustrating because I spent hours and hours creating content, focusing on my content, focusing on building the audience. So you can see the graph on the left. This is what it felt like. I felt like I was just almost off the charts with the hours I was spending on content creation. And on the right-hand side, the revenue, it was not it should have been at least as much as the hours I was spending. And I didn't feel like the revenue I was making was a reflection of the hours that I was pouring into creating this educational content, this thought leadership content. And as I said, I spent that year kind of recovering from a broken leg, figuring out how to do this differently. I had some time to really think about this, and that helped me to craft a new approach to building a profitable online business. And like I said, I kind of put content marketing in its proper place. It's a piece of the puzzle. It is a tactic, but content marketing alone is not your business plan. So if you are sitting there and wondering, like, why am I spending all this time attracting an audience with content? Where is the payoff to all of this effort? Or if you're sort of feeling like, I have devoted years to building up this group of subscribers or to generating all these followers with my content, maybe on my social platform, and now what am I supposed to do? I can't, deposit those followers in my bank account. How does that turn into revenue for all the effort I'm making? Or maybe you've heard that phrase, like, you need to monetize your audience, which I gotta say, that's like the worst thing ever. I think you should monetize your content, but you don't monetize relationships. That's just bizarre. But you've heard this, right? You've heard people saying you should be monetizing your audience, but you're wondering, like, what does that exactly look like for you? First of all, I want to tell you, you have done the right thing, because learning how to use content marketing to attract an audience is an amazing skill to have, and building your audience is very important. So you've done the right thing, but now we need to figure out the other piece of the puzzle. Because what I've seen, and you may have noticed this as well, is that, the equation is, the reality is, the content marketing plus an audience that you've built does not equal profits. It just doesn't. It doesn't add up that way. Wouldn't that be nice? But that's not the way it works. And if you keep running on this treadmill of, I'm going to create content, I'm going to build an audience, I'm going to create content and build an audience, you are going to run out of steam before you ever earn the revenue that you deserve to earn, because it's just unsustainable. It's not fair to you to be focused on that and serving your audience and not actually earning revenue for your expertise. Let's make you some money. So if that's what you're here for, let's dig into a few principles that I think are really important. Now, this part of my presentation it's a little bit about mindset, and I don't talk about mindset that much, but it is a really important foundation for any kind of online business work, because in many cases, you are the thought leader behind the content and behind the offers. And because so much of it hinges on you, you really have to get your mindset well supported, and you got to feel like your brain is in the right place. So these are some things I want you to think about. Principles, let's call them. So the first principle is that you are worth it. Your expertise is valuable, and you deserve to earn great income from your expertise. You deserve it. So if you need to write this down, take a piece of paper or open a blank document and type, I am worth it. And these are some questions that you can ask yourself to see if you are living up to this principle of you are worth it. One question is, do you feel like you are well compensated for the work that you do in your online business? And do you feel like you don't resent your online business because it's so much work? The other question you can ask is, can you honestly say that the daily tasks that you do are leading directly to revenue? And the final question you might want to ask yourself is, when you log into your business bank account, do you have a smile on your face, or are you kind of scowling because you don't like what you're seeing? So that's principle one. And You don't need to share your answers, but I think it's worthwhile to ask yourself those questions and just see where you're at. Principle number 2 is that success can be easy. Your online business can feel easy. It does not have to be a slog. It doesn't have to be this place where you just pour time and effort and you don't get compensated for all the work you're doing. And you have a lot of control over this. You probably have more control than you know. So the questions you can ask yourself to see if you're living up to this principle is, do you feel your work schedule is fair to you and your loved ones? Do you feel like it's actually fair to you? The second question you can ask is, do you take enough downtime to rest and recover? And the third question you can ask is, do you take the easy option when making business decisions? Because there's almost always an easier option. And are you looking for that? And are you opting for it? Here's the third principle. The third principle is that, here we go. Success starts with you. This one's really important to me anyway. It's really important. I am running my online business in this space that is full of self-proclaimed gurus, right? And those of us who have a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge that we could be sharing with the world, we come online and suddenly we feel like we don't know anything and we have to learn from the gurus. And they're going to show us how to do things. And my take on this is that there is no guru, there is no thought leader, there is no industry expert that holds the answers that are right for you. You have the answers inside of you right now, and don't let anyone tell you anything different. So here are the questions you can ask yourself to see if you're living up to principle 3. Success starts with you. Have you taken the time to think independently about how you can make your business a reflection of you and not what the loudest guru is saying right now? Because that's how it is, right? Whoever's talking the loudest tends to get our attention. But have you thought independently about how you want to form your business? The second question to ask yourself is, do you take good care of yourself so that you can be the guide that your business needs? And the third question is pretty simple. Is your business everything you dreamed it would be when you started it? What I am proposing is a different way to think about your business. It's really about serving your financial needs, but it's also about serving your emotional needs. And I believe you want to create a business that reflects your personal values while you serve your audience. And all of those things are different, right? Your personal values are different than my personal values. Your audience is different than my audience. We need to take all of these things into account so that you build an audience and an offer and a business that truly reflects you, and you're really well paid for your work. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you can create, this is interesting. I'm seeing something different than what is on your screen. So that's interesting. Let me come back to my here we go. Let me just get my slides synced up here. Thank you for your patience. All right, let's try going back to these and see if they want to. There we go. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to take the slide full screen so it's less distracting. Everything's moving like at sloth pace right now. I don't know what's going on. Very slow. Okay, so we're going to talk about creating an offer. And as I said at the beginning, I believe that you can create an offer that is your own source of revenue, that you control yourself. You're not beholden to sponsors. You're not beholden to ad algorithms. You can create your own offer that serves your own audience, reflects your own values. And what this does is it allows you to become a self-reliant content creator because you have a business that is owned and controlled by you. And you are controlling your revenue source, which is so important. What I see is that online gurus they want to teach you their solution to creating an offer. They've been very successful oftentimes with a very specific type of offer, and they're going to show you how to create that same offer. They sort of take it off the shelf and they're like, I did this thing, I'm going to show you how to do this same thing. And I just don't think that's realistic because you have a specific audience, you have a specific personality, a specific set of values and skills. And so the offer you create needs to be very specific to you. You can't just take an off-the-shelf solution and plug it into your unique situation. I don't think that any other guru or any industry leader knows your audience's unique challenges as well as you do, and they don't understand the unique solution that you put together for your audience like you do as well. What happens oftentimes with these programs that people teach too is everybody graduates from the program and the market is kind of like flooded with these identical offers that all sort of look the same, and you can tell they got like stamped out from the same online course factory, right? So that's what I don't want for you. I really want you to create something that is unique. And the way I teach people to do this is I have a 5-step process, and I want to walk you through it so you can do this yourself. And when you create your offer using this process, you really create something that is unique, and your competition isn't really relevant because your offer is unique to you. There's nothing else like it on the market. I'm going to take a sip of tea so that my voice holds out. I had an interview just before this one, so. All right. 5 steps. Let's go over these steps. The first step that you need to do is to really get in touch with your market, to really understand what your market is looking for. And the reason you need to do this is a lot of us who have expertise, who've been doing this for a while, suffer from the curse of knowledge. And this is where you've been doing something for a long time and you kind of forget what it's like to be a beginner in that topic area, right? It's hard for you to remember what your beginner questions were when you were just starting out. It's hard for you to remember what things confused you or what you found especially challenging. So I recommend that everybody take the time to do some market research. I call it market exploration because I like to make everything fun. And there's a way to do market research that is actually kind of fun. I do have a video on my YouTube channel about market exploration, and I think Stacy is around. So if you are able to get that link, Stacy, and drop it into chat, that would be awesome. We can put it in the description as well. But the market exploration process is a really important part of this. What you're going to do is to just see how the people you want to serve are talking about the challenges that they have and what they find lacking in the solutions that are on the market now. This allows you to go into the market with your eyes wide open, understanding what people truly need and how they're talking about those needs. And that is super important because what it allows you to do is to take the words that they use to describe their challenges and use those words in your marketing messaging. So people will say things to you like, it's like you were inside my head and you understood exactly what I'm struggling with. And it's because you picked up their language and you used it. So that market research or market exploration process is a really important first step. Second step. The second step is something that I alluded to earlier in this presentation, which is I want you to take some time to really think about your personal values. This is such an important way for you to make your offer really unique to you. And your values might be things like, a sense of humor, and a sense of acceptance, a sense of civic pride or community or leadership, whatever values you've developed in your lifetime that you feel really represent who you are, those values need to be in your offer so that your offer doesn't look like it was stamped out of a factory and it looks like everybody else's. You really want your offer to be unique to you. Personally, you may have noticed, I love laughing at things, so a sense of humor is very important. It's a value that I try to imbue in everything I do. The first thing I laugh at is myself because you just, in this online business space, you end up making these ridiculous public mistakes. And so you just have to be able to laugh at yourself. It's one of the first skills that you need to develop when you have an online business. But you've got values as well. And we need to make sure that your values are reflected in your offer. So I highly recommend that you just sit down with your favorite beverage in the coziest chair you can find, and you just start listing like what's important to me, or how would other people describe me? How would other people describe what my values are? Sometimes it's easier to think about it that way. So get that noted down because you're going to need it for the following steps that come in this offer development process. The next thing that you want to do is to really think about your current strengths. And what I mean by that is at this point in your career, you have skills. You've got skills, right? You have a skill set that you've developed, and there are certain things that you find relatively easy to do. So maybe you're a really good writer. Maybe you like doing video like this and you enjoy, presenting live. Maybe you'd much prefer to talk versus to write. You have preferences and you have skills. Maybe you love delivering live in-person workshops or giving speeches. Whatever it is, I want you to take some time to note those skills. And that's so important because the other thing that I see people do, people who have a lot of expertise like us, is they'll say, I want to develop a course. I want to develop a course and I'm going to make it a video course. But, before I make that course, I have to figure out how to do video. No. We want to deliver a transformation to people using your existing skill set. You do not need to learn new skills. There are so many modalities that you can use to reach people online. I guarantee that you can use your existing skill set to deliver your offer. So get in touch with what that is. What comes easy to you? What do you enjoy doing? What do you find fast and simple to put together? I'm going to take another sip of tea. It's iced tea. It's July in Nashville, so it's definitely iced tea. In the winter, it'd be hot tea. All right, fourth step. Once you have done that market research and once you have gotten in touch with your values and your skill set, now it's time to create a test version of your offer. What do I mean by a test version? So this is something else that I see people in mid-career do a lot. We are perfectionists, let's say. We have standards. Let's say that's a diplomatic way of saying it. We have high standards, right? And oftentimes we've been in online programs, really great, very polished online programs. And so our thought is, if I'm going to come out with an online program, it needs to be polished like that one that I experienced myself. I need to make it a really great reflection of who I am, and it needs to be very professional and polished. And that is it's so wonderful to have those high standards. And you will get there, but what I recommend is that you start out with a more pared down approach to delivering your offer. And the reason is that the best online offers are developed through an iterative process where you put a version of your offer in front of your customers. You get their feedback. You find out what they find challenging, what questions they still have, what confusion they still have, and you make your offer better based on that feedback. That is very difficult to do if you have developed this super polished version of your offer and you haven't gotten feedback and incorporated that feedback into the offer that you create. So this is why I recommend that the first time out of the gate, you come out of the gate with an offer that is less polished, but that still helps people. And you just keep your ears open, listening to all the feedback and all the questions so that you can make your offer better over time. This is a really important part of the process. And I got to tell you, it's not going to feel comfortable. People in mid-career, we've got standards. Like I said, it's not going to feel comfortable to come out of the gate with something that's not polished. But the trick is to develop something that really delivers transformation and help to your audience without all the beautiful polished branding and bells and whistles. So you test your offer, right? And you develop this test version of it that you put in front of people. So this is the fifth step, really, that you're putting this offer out in front of people and you're asking for money in exchange for this offer. This is a way for you to see, is my offer actually going to sell? Are people willing to pay for it? If you have built an audience, and that's why, I said at the top of this presentation, it's really for people who have audiences, because when you built an audience, you can put your offer in front of your existing audience, your podcast listeners, your YouTube channel subscribers, your email list subscribers, your social platform followers. You use your existing audience to test this offer with. You let them know you're developing something. You let them know you have a version of it that's available. It's not super polished, but you want their feedback. You want to work with them and help them. And you can't wait to give them a special price for being among the first people to test this offer. And you get that group in and start getting feedback from them. These 5 steps are the secret sauce of my Offer Accelerator program. And you can do them on your own. You can totally do them on your own. In my program, I help you get through them within 30 days. So it's the first month of the 6-month program. We are going through this process. We hit the ground running and take your idea into an offer that you are testing within 30 days. And then for the rest of the 6 months, we're helping you to optimize it. We're helping you to create marketing systems that make it easy for you to promote. We're streamlining the delivery process so that it's simple and easy for you. Like I said in the presentation, online business can be easy if you choose for it to be easy. There's always an easier way, oftentimes a lower tech way than people want you to think, to deliver your offer. The way I teach offer creation is very much inspired by lean software development. I don't know if you have heard of that term, but this is a framework that's used in the software world to sort of optimize the development time for a piece of software that's going out, that's going to be offered. And what they do is they create a piece of software that delivers only the necessary features, and they iterate and improve it over time. And that's the way I teach people to create offers. It's very much inspired by that. During the years that I was working at Copyblogger, they were actually positioning themselves as a software company. So I was very much inspired by seeing that in action, seeing the lean software development process in action. And what you do is you use this pared down approach to build your high value offer very quickly. And then you can spend the rest of the program just making your processes work even better. If you are watching this and you have an audience, that's important, and you're ready to build a higher value offer that generates $10,000 to $20,000 in revenue a month, because that's my goal for you, then I do want to encourage you to apply to my program. I have a slide and I'm going to show it to you so you can see where to go. This is what it looks like. It's the Offer Accelerator. You can find it at offeraccelerator.com. And actually, if you go a really great first step, you can go to offeraccelerator.com to learn more about it, but a really great first step that is completely complimentary, has a value of $250 and will help you to know what you really need to focus on right now, is to book a strategy session with Colin Yearwood, my strategy coach. He's amazing. And you can book that session right on this page, pamelawilson.com/watch. At the bottom of that page, you'll see a calendar, and that is Colin's calendar. So you can actually grab a time right on his calendar. There are only a few spots available right now. If you don't see anything available on the calendar, I recommend you come back to that page in the future and grab a spot when it's available. Colin's conversations are really helpful. They are designed to help you figure out what stage of business you're in right now. And Colin asks these, I call them his magic questions, but he asks these series of questions that help you to figure out what to focus on so that you can grow faster. And you're going to get recommendations for your next step. If it does seem like the Offer Accelerator could help you, then he can tell you about the Offer Accelerator. But either way, he's going to give you some great advice and ask you some really great thought-provoking questions. That's kind of his specialty. So again, that's at pamelawilson.com/watch. You can get onto Colin's calendar. And I want to stick around just for a minute maybe to answer any questions that you may have if you're here live. Kendra's saying, I'm still in phase 1 and it seems like I can't get past the first stage. Yes, I know that feeling. So you know what happens in stage 1 is oftentimes when you're sort of planning and you're learning. Maybe you're attending sessions like this one to learn more about what to do. And that planning is a lot of fun. It can be a little overwhelming. You've got a lot to learn, but it can also be kind of fun. Going from planning to actually putting your idea out there is a huge leap. I mean, it's like leaping over the Grand Canyon as far as how huge a leap it feels like when you're doing it. You feel like you're becoming more vulnerable because you're putting your idea out in public, and you're not planning behind the scenes now. You are putting your idea in front of people, and that can be really, really difficult. And it's one of the reasons that I love working with people in my program, because I'm there to help them make that leap. I've got a ton of templates and tools, and I give a lot of feedback. We have weekly coaching. So there's a way that you can sort of co-create your offer with somebody else who has a lot of experience. And that can give you a lot of confidence when you're feeling that feeling of like, I can't get past the planning stage, right? So if you're interested, I would love to talk to you about it. It's offeraccelerator.com. And you could also just go to pamelawilson.com/watch and book a session with Colin to learn more about it. And Stacy said, Colin is awesome, super smart, and very laid back. And I agree. He is one of the most laid back people I know. I think you're going to enjoy talking to him. We get thank you notes all the time for Colin's sessions. So if you're able to grab one, please do, because they're very valuable and I think you'll learn a lot. I want to thank you so much for being here today and for learning more about how to create an offer that helps you to monetize all the content that you worked so hard to create. And I want to encourage you, if you have any questions or anything you want to follow up on after you've watched this presentation, just let me know down in the comments. I keep an eye on my comments and I'm a little bit obsessive about answering them. So I'd be super happy to chat with you there. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you next time. Take care.